beautiful gallery, and these are really moments that I cherish. And thank you, Deborah, for seeing a significance in my work, because it is so different, and for creating this very interesting presentation to follow my talk. I believe in the art of story as an important way to connect with any art form. My process list of steps and materials are usually proprietary. I'm much of a chemist. I do a lot of research and a lot of studies, practicing. What am I going to paint? And so I don't give away a lot of secrets. I do have a story to tell tonight about why I made this particular body of work. Body of work, pun intended, because there's no bodies in the painting. A long time ago in a faraway land, I was a little girl about 7 years old. I'd gone to visit my aunt right before Christmas, and she lived in Tulsa, Oklahoma. She'd planned this long list of big girl things to do for the week, with the highlight at the end of the week to take me to my first ever museum, art museum. Before the big day, she asked if I had a proper dress and a coat to wear. I did not. We went shopping. She picked out a beautiful little dress that wasn't even scratchy, and some shiny new shoes that didn't hurt my feet. Everybody remember those little shiny shoes that hurt your feet? Next, we went to the coat department, and there it was, my very first wool coat. It fit me perfectly, and I loved my new clothes so much I could hardly wait for the big trip to the museum. We went to the Philbrook Museum in Tulsa, Oklahoma, where there was an exhibit of Impressionists, all the beloved artists I'd seen in the library. We slowly and deliberately looked very carefully at every single painting. I intensely studied the colors and the brushstrokes, and I got really close to see the movement of the brush and the subtle variations in all of the different pigments. And then I stood farther away to understand the composition. After a few hours, we ended up in a lovely cafe for high tea. It was my very first time for a lot of things that day. I was so hungry, and I had no idea of the delights that were on the way to the table. Then she brought tiers of finger sandwiches and beautifully decorated small cakes and lots of colorful candies, and it was such a magical treat. Once the sandwiches and the cakes arrived, I feasted on some of each as we sipped our tea as ladies do, and rested in an interesting conversation from such an exhilarating morning. I savored the last little mint candy. My aunt asked me this question: what do you want to be when you grow up? I know she was thinking I would answer an artist. But my answer was elegant. As I pondered this October exhibit, I decided to take a break from painting music. I spend a lot of time in music venues, listening and studying the science of music, and most of you know that I have a form of synesthesia called chromesthesia, which causes me to see sound in color and shape and texture. But I wanted to do something that I thought would be fun and elegant. So I began to study designers, historical periods of change in the customs of our dress. I found the first garment ever discovered, and it was a form of a dress, or so they say, because it was just the top of it. It was my fortune to meet and work with a very well-known designer, Rosemarie Umetsu. She designs these beautifully elegant dresses, and she's in Toronto, Canada. She's a brilliant career, working at Lincoln Center to provide these beautiful gowns. I was very lucky that she even talked to me. And a lot of performance wear for musicians, opera singers, and celebrities all over the world. And my love for textiles, texture, and the ever-important underpainting, which is the beginning of creating a context of your work, caused me to dive into this research, a very new to me and unique way to enhance figurative work. Why dresses? I've been a dress wearer for many reasons for a very long time, and I wonder about those of you who wear them too. How do you feel? Why do you wear them? So freedom.
Yeah.
So what about you? How did you feel?
Yeah, I do too. I like that freedom.
The wind blowing up your skirt.
Yeah,
Anyone else? Yeah, comfortable. Yes. Anybody else?
I like the space.
You like to feel what? You're making a statement. Yeah. Yeah. How do you feel about yourself when you wear a dress? Feminine? Confident? Then you can try one on and chip in if you want to. And think about the places that you go. There's certain dress codes, right? And there's things that you're going to do that require a certain kind of dress. So think about that and tell me about some places that you've been where you wore something, a dress, and for what reason. So if a woman wears a dress, you can kind of tell the personality she's feeling at the time, maybe. So there's a lot to that. I'm trying to get you guys to come and think about how does it make you feel, but also, don't you portray a certain message when you wear a particular kind of dress? I mean, think about a bride. Hello, I'm a bride. Yes. So what about some of the other things, some other kinds of dresses that you could wear? Think about all the different kinds during the year that you can wear. Deborah.
I struggle finding dresses. It's hard, but it's like picking out perfume. You could spend hours at the perfume counter smelling every scent, and you may walk away with nothing. You may go to multiple perfume counters, and it could take weeks till you go, there it is. So it's labor intensive, really.
And personal.
And personal, and in the act of going and picking out a dress and bringing it into a dressing room and putting it on and looking at yourself and coming to terms with many things when you're trying on certain dresses.
Yes.
You know,
how did that happen?
Yeah. Or just like, ooh, I don't quite feel that. But anyway, you know, it's a very personal experience. So that's what I have to say.
Thank you. Anyone else? Yes, movement is important. Some dresses you can't move or walk, and some you have much more to work with. Yeah, thank you very much for your responses. Well, some of you know that I wore this dress at the opening this month. I did it to start the conversation with people. A lot of people said, which one came first? But they would walk in the room this way or this way. They would look at me and then look at that painting and then look back at me. And then they started to giggle or laugh or smile. And they came to me and said, are you the artist? And I thought about being snarky and saying, what do you mean? But I didn't. And it was just, I had the best time. I remember telling Gundy, this has just been a blast, because it started the conversation and people started thinking more about why I painted that particular dress when they were looking at the work. Does anybody have any other questions? I do want to say I also set an alarm for other things, eating, stopping because I have an appointment and all that. But most of mine is so I'll eat or pee. It's because I get it. You get in the zone. And even on something like this, it was so fun. Thank you.